Hey there, welcome back to Science Flixtion. My name is Salim Siderwala, and as always, I'm joined with my co-host and friend, Carl Ames. Carl, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself? What's going on?
Not bad. I'm doing well. I had a spout of like vertigo in the morning, but it's better now. Like as the day went on, I took some medication. It was weird. Like it was just like when I rolled over to my side when I got up in the morning just to check the time and turn up my alarm. I started spinning. my head started spinning, and I got some. I had some medicine from just like it's over counter stuff. Like there's like something in the medicine that can help with vertigo. So I just took that, and luckily when when I stood up, I wasn't dizzy because I've had it much worse where like the only time I'm not dizzy is when I'm laying flat on my back. Otherwise, like if I stood up or whatever, I would be like really be dizzy. But luckily, I was able to sit up and be fine, and stand up and be fine. But then I took medication to help with the nausea, and my dizziness has pretty much gone away. So that's good.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. It was kind of annoying. I was like, man, I don't want this happening today. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. And then I had my sister had gotten me these Jordans for Christmas, and she finally gave them to me like I want to say maybe like the end of January, but they were shoes that similar to ones I already had, and I exchanged them essentially for two new shoes. Do you want to see them really quick?
Sure, yeah.
I like them. So this is one of them. These are Donovan Mitchell Don threes.
Okay.
They look really nice. I like them. I like. There was this purple version that they had. Like was purple with like over here it was like a turquoise, yellow to turquoise. Um, I like those better, a little bit better, but they didn't have them in my size for some reason. I thought they did. I misread the chart when I was looking at it, and I went to buy them. I kind of got annoyed, but I like those too. Those are really good. I heard they're really comfortable. And then I got these Jordans. They're Zions, um, kind of funky looking colorway. I like them, so I exchanged them out. Got these, which I like. I like them. So that's been my last couple of days, I guess, if you will, or a week, if you will. How about you? What's new?
I got to experience the joy of riding in a Lyft and Uber as opposed to being the driver
Oh yeah.
yesterday because I had to go downtown for traffic court for so this happened really quickly back in December, right
Mm-hmm.
before Christmas. I got stopped on Lakeshore Drive by a cop. Um, which was really dumb because it was like backing up all the traffic and whatever. All because I put my registration sticker on my license plate in the wrong place. I didn't put it like on the top right. I put it in the middle. Just
Right.
whatever. So he stopped me for that and he gave me a ticket. And I had to go to court yesterday to prove that I move the ticket or move the sticker or whatever, which was a whole big joke because one, the my sticker registration, my plate sticker expires this month. So in December, he gave me the ticket for the court date for yesterday, even though my sticker expires this month anyway. So I was going to be buying a new sticker regardless. So it didn't matter. And it was also a joke because I go downtown for this traffic court and then I go through and, oh, you got to go sign in. Traffic court's all virtual. You need to use Zoom. And here's your passcode. And I'm like, I just came all the way downtown for you to tell me that I'm not even going to be in person and I'm going to use my cell phone to do traffic court. And you could have, I called last week. You could have told me this information. I could have stayed home. I spent $30 to go downtown from my house and I have to spend $30 5 minutes after I got dropped off to go back home. So spend $60 just to get down here and back for no reason at all is like,
Yeah.
man. And
That's
then like again,
absurd.
like when I met with the actual judge on Zoom, like there was a bunch of other people. I was the first person, and he said, "You got your registration?" I was like, "Yeah, I was going to show you a picture of my license plate, but I hear I just bought a new sticker." He said, "Case dismissed. Gone." I'm like, okay, now I can go home and that's great, but I just wasted a bunch of money just to get here. So I was kind of
Yeah,
upset about that.
that's yeah, it's annoying when they don't give you all the information. When you call in specifically to get information and they don't
Yeah.
give you the proper information, it's ridiculous. It's very
Hmm.
ridiculous. But yeah, it's one of those things in life. You're always dealt with these goofy hands, and I guess got to make the best of it sometimes. But we do have a fun show planned today. We're gonna talk about the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, this second trailer that was released and during the Super Bowl, and then there's been another trailer. I guess the trailers are a little different than the TV spot compared to like the one that's going around online. I guess because I was noticing there's people mentioning that there's a couple of different scenes at on the TV spot for the commercial when or the preview, the trailer, or whatever you want to
Or
call
the
it, that
Doctor Strange
aired.
one?
Yeah. That was
Okay.
one or two clips that were like I guess not in this the one that we're gonna show eventually here. But first, we are gonna mention a couple of fast flicks, just a little couple of things that are happening out there with Marvel that we want to mention really quick. So I'll let you lead off with that really quick.
Yeah, the first one is like a few days ago. Um, I don't know if it was just eagle eye viewers or it was a big, press release, but all of the Netflix Marvel shows, which would include Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, The Defenders, and The Punisher, all of those Netflix shows are going to be leaving Netflix at the end of this month of February. So as of March 1st, they will be gone. The license agreement, as far as I understand, is over, has ended because again, it wasn't renewed. Marvel canceled the shows a few years back, so the last day that you'll be able to watch them on Netflix will be at the end of the month. If you haven't watched any of these shows, I wouldn't fret too much because I don't believe that they're just going to be completely gone. Most likely, we'll be seeing them return at some point on a streaming platform, most likely not Disney Plus, as far as I understand. There hasn't been anything official as far as these shows goes, but I believe you said that Celine, that there's a report that the Punisher series is going to be heading over to Hulu. Is this based off
Right.
of?
So
Yeah,
yeah,
is
there
that
was
is
a
that like
couple of
the new like a new season, or is that going to be
yeah,
like
yeah.
or
It's
the old
supposed to be a new
stuff.
right. It's supposed to be a new series. So I looked up a couple of different sources that were saying that like a major outlet hasn't reported it yet, but that's what the rumors are right now. That the new John Bernthal Punisher series is going to go to Hulu. Now I don't know if that's going to be a continuation of the Netflix series. I know obviously MCU is doing seems to be doing a light reboot of those characters. So
Hmm.
maybe they'll do a little different um like storyline or what have you for them. But that's happening, I guess, with Punisher. And that's why I figured too that would happen with the rest of these shows, that they would go to Hulu and they would keep that mature content instead of, putting it down to like, a PG-13 level, because uh a lot of these shows like Punisher does not work with a PG-13
It
rating. And
doesn't
then
work at all in the MCU.
no, it doesn't, like I said, it totally the antithesis of MCU. And then even like I know they're going to be doing Deadpool eventually. I think I keep getting mixed up if they've already started shooting the third movie or they're planning on getting that
I don't
ready.
think they've started shooting. They've been like writing it and stuff. But to your point, Deadpool and Deadpool 2 are already on Hulu. They are
Right,
not on
right,
Disney Plus. So you can watch
right.
those as opposed, like I believe like the X-Men movies are on Disney Plus, but Deadpool and Deadpool 2 are on Hulu.
Right. And Daredevil, you could probably get away with doing a really good Daredevil show at PG-13, but like the way Netflix really did that show, I would hate to see them, revert away from the feel of that show, how it was. We'll see if they'll do another Daredevil series. I think there's theories and rumors that the Daredevil cast might be an Echo, so maybe we'll see, or parts of the characters will be an Echo. So we'll see what happens with that. In any regards, but yeah, that's what it's seeming like, that Disney is going to set up that Hulu side where they'll probably have more mature content involved in that regards.
Yeah, because
Um,
the way things like there was like the first MCU sex scene was Eternals, right? And that was
right,
like rather tasteful sex scene for the most part. It was, you know, not showing anything as opposed to what was in Jessica Jones with Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. That's like a whole nother thing that definitely is not PG-13. So that's definitely not going to be on Disney Plus. Even if they
right.
just like put all of those shows, they wouldn't put that on Disney Plus. So
No, no.
um yeah, and then like Daredevil, there was that scene where Kingpin smashing that guy's head into the car with the car door. That's not
All
that's not
right,
gonna be Disney
right.
Plus at all. So I expect all of this to hit Hulu. And I had previously mentioned like with Moon Knight that it would be a good test bench since it is a Disney Plus show to see exactly how violent they are gonna get with this show. Because I believe either Marvel Studios or Fahi or someone representing Marvel said that they weren't holding back with Moon Knight, but they have to some extent because to it can't get to Punisher levels of not holding back and still be on Disney Plus.
Right, right. So yeah, like I said, I think that's probably the right move. I would say just don't take away what fans love. And then maybe the new stuff they can do what they want with it. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what they'll do with Wolverine if whenever they bring him in, because I know Logan was so well appreciated and lauded that people want to see more rated R Wolverine, because he's also has that side to him where it's hard to do a PG-13 character for Wolverine. I think, in my opinion, Logan was like nailed it. Like I feel like if they had a rated R rating for the other two Wolverines, they probably could have done a better job with the movies. But yeah, I think yeah, it'll be interesting. And like I said, I think it's the right call to go about doing stuff on Hulu, um, and continue the content, the mature content that they want to do.
I think they
Um,
can still, like, just real quick. I think they can pull off a Wolverine character where he can still, like, if there was going to be like something more bloody or violent, have him go to a Deadpool movie and or go to be a cameo in the Deadpool cameo in a Daredevil or something like that, so he can let loose, and that would be cool. Him fighting the Hand with Daredevil and stuff like that, but then still do some PG-13 stuff like in the animated series and all of the animated series that Wolverine's been in. Like he's pops claws, but he only does it and slashes things that are usually like robots or cyborgs and things like that against other mutants and humans. He's more withdrawn and things like that. But they did enough tricks to make you not even realize that when you're watching it, because like, oh yeah, he cuts all these other things up, and you just naturally think, oh, either they got the best of him, the humans got the best of him, or he never got the opportunity to use his claws or whatever. And they can kind of mask it that way within the MCU, so that way he's never actually killing anyone in an MCU movie. But then if it's going to be more like Deadpool or something like that, Moon Knight crossover, oh yeah, those zombies or those whatever people are going to get killed by Wolverine. That would make sense.
no, that's true. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see where they go that route. But I'm sure we'll talk about the X-Men a little bit later. I'm sure in this show.
Mhm.
One last fast flick. For the show Ironheart, they hired or put on cast. I mean, they haven't said what his role would be yet, but Anthony Ramos of from the Hamilton or from Hamilton and the Heights star, he was casted in a role to play in IR to play, like I said, an undisclosed role. The speculation that is that he might play the child of Obadiah Stane, who's known as Ezekiel. Now, Obadiah Stane is again from Iron Man 1, the villain in that show where he was trying to overtake the company from Tony Stark. And he obviously had Tony kidnapped by the 10 rings or the fake 10 rings, as we find out later on. And yeah, basically, there that was a small rumor of it. And for those who don't remember or have any really knowledge of what Ironheart is, so in the comics, uh, Ironheart is a character named Riri Williams. I'm bad at pronouncing R's. Riri, like when you have to do like the simultaneous R's like that,
Yeah.
as it sounds like goofy. I don't know if I'm even saying
Detroit
it
Red
right.
Rings. See, I can't even say that. Detroit.
Yeah,
It's
like
bad.
when you have to say that simultaneous R. Riri Williams is a teen genius who's like offered a scholarship to MIT. She's like just 11 years old. So again, that comes back to maybe the Young Avengers she'll be part of. She is a student and she steals the materials from around campus that and uses it to make an Iron Man esque like suit out of that. Um, and it shows in the comics as well that Riri's a huge admirer of Tony Stark, and after that, she MIT like kicks her out of school, and she ends up like saving or fighting some kind of villain or bad guy, saves people, and Tony Stark then comes and sees her and says, you know, I give you my blessing to continue on to be a superhero. And to use the suit and material and stuff. So in the MCU, I don't know how they'll change it, obviously, because Tony Stark is no longer with uh, in at least Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark is no longer with MCU because obviously they showed him passing away in Endgame. So who knows how they'll go about for her character here, how different they'll do it, if they'll mention her stealing equipment from MIT or how she'll get, kind of a be told like, yeah, you can use this. Like maybe it'll be what's his face?
Well, she's
Um
going to show up in Black Panther 2 first.
oh, is
Like
she in
she's
that coming at
Yeah,
first?
she is in that movie, confirmed
Okay.
with Okoye and Shuri. Like they've been on set. Like she's definitively in that movie, so she'll show up there. So I don't know, because she is a Chicagoan in the comic books. She's supposed to be from Chicago. But who knows? Maybe she's a Wakandan in the MCU, and then she got her
Yeah.
education there, and then moved outward. So we don't know all those details, but she is going to be in the next Black Panther movie, at least, unless they decide to cut her and put her in deleted footage or something like that. But I don't know how central she is to the Black Panther 2 movie, but she is on set. She was seen with those characters, with those actresses. So we'll see how much they adapt there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I say, you said she's gonna be in Black Panther first. Yeah, maybe it'll be more Wakandan tech as opposed to Iron Man tech that she uses to make her suit. That's gonna be interesting as well. But yeah, I thought that was a small tidbit that was worth sharing because that show is gonna happen. I'm not sure when. They haven't really announced a date for it or a time frame for it. So they're probably, since they are starting to cast, I imagine they will start shooting it sooner than later because you don't start casting roles unless you're planning on starting to do something production wise with the show. So yeah, that's the end of pretty much the fast flicks we have here. Now let's move on to our main course here, if you will, the meat and potatoes of our show. It's the Doctor Strange official trailer of Multiverse of Madness. Now this is the second trailer that was released during the Super Bowl, but this one might be a little different again because of the trailer that's going online. The slight differences compared to the TV ad spot that they had for the Super Bowl. But we'll go ahead and play the trailer first, just in case anyone has not seen it yet.
Every night, I dream the same dream. And then, the nightmare begins. I did what I had to do to protect our world.
You cannot control everything, Strange. You opened the doorway between universes, and we don't know who or what will walk through it.
Wanda, what do you know about the multiverse?
Viz had his theories. He believed it was dangerous.
He was right.
I'm sorry, Stephen. Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished.
We should tell him the truth.
Things just got out of hand.
You break the rules. Look out! To become a hero. I do it, I become the enemy. It doesn't seem fair.
So that is the trailer of Multiverse of Madness, the second one again. Very exciting movie. I'm sure Carl is as excited as I am about that movie. I know it's funny. Before we get into further into this, it's funny how people were like worried about Phase 4, and Phase 4 has
Yeah.
been like it's been really good.
I don't know what spurred that conversation, but yeah.
Yeah, people, I don't know, it was really odd. So now I always like to kind of mention the comic books again, just simply it's very loose. Sometimes it's very loose based loosely off on the comics, what MCU does. But in the comic book universe, there's a series called House of M. Now there's like a core 8 issue that's mainly based on, but there is a larger base. It's like it kind of becomes a different universe because Wanda creates this universe. um it's like 47 issues steaming towards all across Marvel, but like there's a 8 core issue that focuses mostly around like um the X-Men and the Scarlet Witch and Magneto and all them. um so basically then the series Scarlet Witch suffers a mental breakdown, and she tries to alter like the fabric of reality to recreate her lost children. Again, her children were falsely created by Mephisto in the comics. They're not real, but she has it stuck in her mind that they are real. So in here, Magneto and his family, along with like Quicksilver and Wanda, they fight Wolverine and a resistance group. So I'm wondering if they're gonna have that in here, because I think we're getting a little more and more idea that I don't know if Wanda will flat out be the villain of the movie, but I think at some point she's going to be an antagonist on some level. It seems like.
Yeah, some people are
And
saying that, which I wanted to add because I didn't put this on the slide. Some people are saying that she might just be flat out the villain of the movie. Like we see part of that there at the beginning where that cloud is rolling in over presumably Comertage.
right,
Um, I've heard some people say that that's caused by her, like she's doing that, which I don't know. I don't feel that, but it's possible. I'm willing to believe that it's a realm of possibility. But at the beginning, also, he's talking about being haunted by nightmares. Not exactly what he said, but I feel like that's more of a confirmation that Nightmare, the villain Nightmare, is the main villain of at least the big bad, with Wanda being someone is kind of mixing things up, or messing or continuing to mess things up by going in her own direction. But we'll touch on that a little bit more. But the villain Nightmare, I think is personally I think is the big bad of the movie.
yeah, that'd be interesting because they haven't mentioned Nightmare yet, and I thought Nightmare was going to be the bad of WandaVision, and maybe he could still be one that orchestrated parts of WandaVision, and that's who uh, Hagatha Harkness was kind of afraid of, and that's why she wanted the powers because of Nightmare. So that'd be interesting as well. Um, Now getting into the show itself, there's a bunch of screenshots that we grabbed from the trailer, like we really stood out to us that we wanted to further discuss in here. First off, being I wanted to kind of show, like, I know that America Chavez is gonna be in this series now. And her power, she has the ability to create star portals that allow travel through the multiverse into other realities. And you kind of see that star portal being created. I can't really remember what she might be attached to here. Some kind of monster.
Yeah,
There's
so she's
should
like that. There's like the big face thing, which I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I don't know, like a Cthulhu or something like that. I don't know what that is,
Yeah.
but yeah, but she's basically creating that portal right there. That's her powers. And now
Mhm.
she has other powers too. She has like superhuman strength and all these other various powers as well. I can't remember on top of my head, but that
Yeah,
was
she's
I just
basically Rogue, but with also the ability to make these portals.
right, right. So it's really cool that we see that in there. That's her power, basically the little star portal popping up there. The next screenshot I wanted to discuss, character, not that one, although it was Rentora, yep, that one right there. uh, Rentura is an other dimensional mystic. It's kind of stood out to me just because I remember, like, I don't know a lot about this character. I just have known like passingly because I remember, as I've read like random Doctor Strange comics. Um, Basically, the character first appears when I did a little bit more research on it. Appears in Doctor Strange number 80. um, within the context of the story, Retura comes from like a other dimensional planet called Raval, uh, where he's like sensitivity to occult forces and has potential to become like a skilled sorcerer. And he becomes like an apprentice because of that to another character, and that name I can't remember on top of my head. And that character that he's apprenticing under is involved in repairing Doctor Strange's cloak that gets damaged in battle. So maybe this character is going to be the one. Maybe the Doctor Strange cloak gets damaged in here somehow, one way or another, and this character maybe is going to be involved um, in fixing, repairing the cloak in itself. And yeah, so that I just stood out to me, that character, because that character is part of Doctor Strange's storyline or in the comic series. So I noticed obviously they had kind of two shots of him. They had the one shot where you talked about the cloud forming, and they had like the back of his head, and then this shot right here, he's kind of standing in the middle of with the rest of the crowd. And then we move on to the next screenshot, where yeah, right before, yeah, where I'll let you take off with this one as far as what's happening in this scene.
So yeah, this is preceded. This scene is in the trailer preceded by Mordo handcuffing Strange, and he's being escorted to this room by the robots, which we'll come back to. But then once he enters this room and he sees um, the throne, all of these chairs standing up there, and then this figure off to the right here, and it's very much everyone can easily tell that this is Patrick Stewart's Professor Xavier from the X-Men movies. Uh, very easily, like, this is like a very strong hint of what we may see, and that is that the Illuminati, that this is the Illuminati is from a comic books, not necessarily the full group, but this is alluding to that. And one reason why I say Illuminati specifically, as opposed to anything else, is because of several things. One, Patrick Stewart had already voiced that he didn't want to come back to be Professor Xavier because of the way it ended in Logan. He thought that was like a great swan song for the character, a great send off. However, despite that, this if this is Illuminati Professor Xavier, this is not the same one. This is not meant to be the same one, at least. So we're going to consider it to be a variant. So what that means is, well, it can mean a whole lot of things, but in general, if you're talking about the Professor Xavier from the first X-Men movies with Patrick Stewart and stuff, it doesn't necessarily mean that Xavier is the same one that's in Logan and that ended in Logan and died there, because that Logan is a kind of a weird thing. It's not necessarily a continuation or the definitive future of the X-Men timeline. It could be a alternate future. And that being said, this Xavier in this movie with Doctor Strange is also a possibility of an alternate future for Professor Xavier and the X-Men timeline. But they're not the same. But in the very least, it's just worth saying that the Xavier that died in the Logan movie is not the same Xavier that you see here, but they are being played by the same actor. So that's enough for Patrick Stewart to come back and say, well, I'm not going to play that Xavier that died, because that was a perfect ending for that Xavier. This is another one that has a different history and a different future. And once we get to, we'll go ahead and show that shot of the Illuminati from the comics.
Yep,
so
that
there we
one.
go. Right.
Yes.
So the Illuminati from the comics are, what you see here, Xavier with Iron Man.
So it's Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, who's king of the Inhumans, Charles Xavier, obviously founder of the X-Men, Reed Richards, founding member of the Fantastic Four, Namor the Submariner, who's king of Atlantis, and then Iron Man, also known obviously as Tony Stark. So that's in the comics, and Illuminati in general. There's a bunch of different characters that one time or another have been part of the Illuminati, but I think this is like the main people that recognize and or the main people that people recognize in the comic world as being members of the Illuminati. Now, obviously, MCU does their own thing. I want to hear your thoughts. Who do you think will be the members of the Illuminati when they show up in the movie?
Right. So, although if you get that other picture with all the chairs there, so yeah, this is the best clues that we have. So it's not saying much because we can't really see a whole lot, but
Right.
um, in the very least, we know one of these is Professor Xavier, and it looks like 6 or 7 chairs up there, but not necessarily all have to be filled. But one of these is Professor Xavier, and I believe one of these is actually Mordo. I think, and is I don't know. He could be an agent for them, or he can actually be a part of this. But that first chair off to the right of Doctor Strange, that character looks like they have long hair, um, which none of the people from the comic books Illuminati have long hair, so I don't think it's any of them per se. But I think that's a chance that that one could be Mordo, because he does have longer hair now with his current look. Um, After that, it gets a little tricky. So one of the things that I think, this movie is called the Multiverse of Madness. So that just it means multiverse. I don't necessarily think it's going to be all of the characters that are from the comic book versions, and even if they were,
Right.
we are still thinking about multiverse stuff. So we kind of can think that some of these characters might have already been in other Marvel movies that were not in the MCU. So I think that there's a chance that the old Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four movies from like the Jessica Alba days could possibly be in here as opposed to the future MCU Reed Richards. I think there could be like a callback to that. I think that Defender Doctor Strange is possibly on this team here. Um, so that would be 3. And then after that, small chance that we get the Black Bolt from the Inhumans series, that terrible, terrible series that no one should watch. He might be up there just for the hell of it. And maybe, I mean, I think he was a good looking guy, but the show was really bad. Outside of that, that's where it gets kind of tough. But like,
So
because I don't think Namor is going to be up there, and I don't
no,
think
no.
like there's been rumors of Tom Cruise as Iron Man for the longest time, and I don't know if it's just people wanting to start up something ridiculous or if there's actually merit to that. But there a lot of people have been saying that Tom Cruise will be Iron Man in this movie, whether he's on this Illuminati team or just part of a alternate reality. But they don't, what do you think?
Yeah, so I think so. Yeah, I think the Reed Richards, the one that played the original Fantastic Four, the one from back in the original Fox one, not the second Fox reboot,
Fan Force it,
where yeah, not that one, the original one, like the older Reed Richards that they had. He's probably gonna. I can imagine him being on here because there's like I said, there's a lot of rumors flying around that they're going to bring back past uh, characters or whatever from other Marvel movies that they did. So he's gonna be like the variant of Doctor Reed Richards, Mister Fantastic. I think um, Charles Xavier is obviously the rumored one, the variant of that will be on here. I agree with you about Barry Mordo. I was wondering if he's going to be part of the Illuminati. I think we had that theory originally when we had first discussed the trailer for the first multiverse trailer. I think you and I had discussed that he potentially could be part of the Illuminati as opposed to just being like a villain or whatever, if whatever have you of of the movie. And then I think I think Tom Cruise was originally, before Robert Downey Jr. got the part. Tom Cruise was one of the people they looked at to
Mhm.
play Tony Stark, Iron Man, and it would be kind of like fitting, like, okay, well, we had you, so let's say in another alternate universe we did pick you, and you're gonna come in and you're gonna play Tony Stark here. And that mansion they show, I wonder if it's, I don't know if it's just the Illuminati headquarters. I know we had a screenshot of that and we forgot to include that in here. But when he's being brought into this, whatever this is, if it's like the Illuminati headquarters or if it's Tony Stark's mansion or the event, or the alternative universe's Avengers headquarters, we don't know 100% yet. We'll find that out. But
Although, could you put the
um,
screenshot up with the robots?
yeah,
Yeah,
so that
yeah.
when he's walking up, there's another screenshot before that, like when you get a broader view
Hmm.
of what, like, where he's coming from and how they're bringing him in. So I'm wondering if that is the case. And then I agree with you, the Defender Strange as well. So Defender Strange, if although if you want to put up a screenshot really quick of Defender Strange, yeah, you get a really quick look. It's like if you blink, you miss it. I
Hmm.
had to like pause the video and go back a couple of times. Like, who is this? This isn't a regular character. That this is, he looks a little different because like you can see like the hair is the way it's tied is a little different. The outfit looks a little different. So in the comics, Defender Strange is a variant of Doctor Strange from another multiverse. The variant belongs to a group of superheroes called the Defenders. Now, this is in the comics, what I'm talking about. So the group heroes that tend to be like an informal, and usually have like their own agenda involved as far as what they do. And Doctor Strange, the Defender Strange, doesn't really have different powers to Doctor Strange, but I'm wondering that instead of the Defenders, he'll be part, like you said, part of the Illuminati, and like I said, he'll just be maybe a direct variant um, of the normal Doctor Strange, if you will. Um, yeah, and then if we want to bring back up the Ultron bots or the robots, um, basically we are seeing these in here. Them bringing them up. I know there's a couple of different theories about if those are actually Ultron bots or if they're somebody had mentioned randomly there could be Sentinels. But yeah, I'll let you.
Yeah,
I know you
it's
had a couple of
possible.
theories.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have theories, but I mean, they look similar. Like their design language is very
Right.
similar of both Iron Man and Ultron. Like very Ultron in the eyes, but kind of more Iron Man in the chest. But I mean, they're very similar anyway because Iron Man created Ultron in the MCU. So,
Hmm.
in general, we know there's definitely some sort of Iron Man influence. That's definitely what they're trying to convey when they show this. They're not just random robots created by some random person or something like that. Like this is definitely saying Iron Man exists. So you can expect to see some form of Iron Man, but don't expect it to be Robert Downey Jr. That's the only
Right.
thing. So
Right. Right.
because I
Uh,
believe they have already said that they're not going to bring back
right. Right. They're
Robert
not
Downey
going to.
Jr. because it would just work people up, and it's already like at this point, like if they're going to bring him back, he has to be back, not just for a quick little teaser or something like that. And he doesn't
Right.
want to come back. It would just make people speculate way too hard. Once if they saw him come back and then he never comes back, it would be too misleading. But to see some variant of Iron Man played by someone else, I think that's possible.
Yeah, and I think if they're bringing him back, it has to be a strong way to bring him back, like
Right, right.
because his death meant so much, and like how much it meant to the storyline. It would just be kind of weak if they brought him back like a glimpse of him, and then it's like his death meant nothing. Then it's like what the hell. Another theory I had that's I just something I thought of. Um, so in the again in the comics, the Ultron bots, they're originally the creation of Hank Pym, Ant Man, and now Tony helps him with those. design and stuff, but the originality of Ultron is Hank Pym. So I was wondering maybe Hank and there's a variant of Hank Pym that's part of the Illuminati in here.
That would be
Maybe
fun.
somehow they show that. That'd be a nice twist.
That would be nice because I want justice for Hank Pym. I've always hated, like, I like Hank Pym in general, but I've always hated that the MCU didn't really care for him, and they still don't. So,
Yeah, because
yeah,
they kind of have him being like this like feebled old man that doesn't really do anything. Like that's so annoying.
exactly. Yeah,
Hank Pym, like a lot of the stuff that they credit Tony for, Hank Pym is the one that's the mastermind
exactly.
behind it. And I mean, no disrespect to Tony Stark. Tony Stark is important in his own right, but like I said, Hank Pym is a lot more important to the MCU and a lot of the Avengers stuff that happens uh, and so
I'm pretty
forth. So
sure in the
yeah,
comics, Hank Pym is actually smarter than Tony Stark.
no, he is. He is smarter than
Yeah.
Tony Stark. Um, so yeah, that's something I thought about. Like, I wonder if because they're slightly a different and they kind of like have that, like the eyes of the Ant-Man helmet, like the
Hmm.
eyes are kind of similar to the robots are to the face shirt. They kind of look similar-ish. So
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was something a twist that they would add in, where Hank Pym, a variant of Hank Pym at least. Who knows if it'll be Robert, played by Michael Douglas, or maybe they do another CGI Michael Douglas. That's Hank Pym, to
Yeah,
be in
that could.
part of it. But yeah, that was interesting to me. There was a screenshot we saw prehistoric times.
Wait, hold
Or
on. Before you do that one, we'll do
oh,
the
sorry.
poster.
Oh,
Actually,
sorry. Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna do the poster real quick. Before we move on, because I forgot to include it, but I wanted to talk about it real quick. Because actually, when they shared this, I just was like, "Oh yeah, cool poster," and then I moved on. I didn't even really pay attention to it. But I mean, it is a cool poster. But there is a really sweet Easter egg in this poster.
I think there's
Um,
two.
At least I only know of one. I mean, you can look at all the faces and stuff. You can see quite a few different faces for Wanda and Doctor Strange. There's actually Defender Strange in some of these faces, and then Wong there. But if you zoom and enhance towards the bottom right, or maybe middle or something like that, just to the right side of Doctor Strange, his left, near the cape, one of those shards has a shield in it. It's the only shard there, and that shield is not any regular shield. It is actually the Captain Carter shield from What If, but it's not animated looking. At least it looks very realistic, but it is definitively Captain Carter's shield. So that's interesting, right? Because I think that's just a strong hint that we might see a live action version of Captain Carter, maybe for an extended period. Maybe it's 5 minutes, 5 seconds. I don't know, but it does hint off at what if characters showing up in this movie.
Yeah, and I think someone also pointed out that there was a Deadpool picture uh, randomly in it. It was kind of interesting. I don't know if that
I
meant
haven't noticed that.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do you know where? Because I have not noticed any of that.
it was somewhere like I can't tell from here just because like my computer screen's not big enough, unfortunately. But somebody had mentioned that, and I was like, that I didn't really think a lot of it, but that was interesting. That I'll have to do a little more studying. But it shows like I know the Linda Carter one was with the shield was kind of confirmed, or I don't know if confirmed is the right word, but they had that showing and kind of blowing up more so of it. So yeah, that's a fun poster. It's again one of those things that we can try to deep dive and dig into and try to figure out what's
Oh, is that
inside
the
these
is that
characters.
now I'm looking at this shard over here next to Evil Doctor Strange, if that's the Eye of Agamotto or if that's the Shumagara / Gargantos eye. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But
That's the
yeah,
first time I actually noticed that.
yeah. So moving on into the different screenshots that we have here. Again, like I said, the prehistoric times. Savage Land is kind of going through different very different multiverses um, in the show, and I'm wondering like this is one of those situations where we'll randomly see like a previous another previous character from a Marvel movie that they did before that'll just pop up. Like we'll see them like in the background. But I know
Mhm.
you had a couple of thoughts on this scene right here.
No, just I mean, whether or not it's them going back in time, or if this is a view of the Savage Land, because the Savage Land, if anyone doesn't know what the Savage Land is, this is very X-Men heavy reference, because not too many other characters go to the Savage Land other than the X-Men and their villains. But it is a spot in Antarctica that has alien technology that is keeping the climate there warm. So it has trees, like it's like basically a tropical region within this small little area of Antarctica that not only has all plant life and animals, but not any animals. It also has like dinosaurs. It has prehistoric animals like full on saber-toothed tigers, Tyrannosaurus Rex, pterodactyls, and all the like in the Savage Land. And even has people there as well, very like native, uh, like people there living off the land. Low technology, despite the fact that the area is being sustained by technology. Um, it's just a cool thing. There's a lot of stories that have been told in Savage Land. I don't want to get too much into it, but this could just be them traveling through time. I don't know if America's Chavez's powers allow for time travel. I don't believe so. I believe they're just reality uh, hopping powers. So she could
Right.
be just going to another reality where dinosaurs still exist. It could be a reality where they went to the Savage Land. It could be a reality where they are, I don't know, Jurassic Park. Maybe it's just Jurassic Park reality. Who knows?
Yeah, right. Yeah, but like I said, I'm wondering like in this scene they're showing him going through various different portals. So I was wondering like maybe we'll end up seeing random characters just pop up. It'll be interesting that what they do in that regards.
Hmm.
The next screenshot we had was yeah, the Wanda. There's two Wandas. Obviously one of potentially being a variant.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so she's kind of going in there, and I don't know if she goes back in time. Maybe I don't know what she does here to because this is the set of WandaVision, that the house that she had, and she's kind of
Isn't
going.
this what I wanted to ask you? Isn't this a little different than the WandaVision house? Just like, wasn't the stairs next to the wall and there wasn't a door back there?
Yeah, the
Like the door
door
was off
was
to
so
the
the
left.
stair. No, so the door was straight ahead to the stairs. Like this, when you came down, you can walk straight
Right, straight
to
to
the
the door.
door.
Right.
Yeah, so it might be a little different setup. Maybe that. I mean, I'm not 100% sure if I don't know if there's like because I don't know. Maybe there was like two stairs, like one of those stairs that there's a two-way stair. Like if like you go one side goes to one side of the house and the other stairway goes to the other side of the house. You know what I'm saying? So maybe this is like the other angle from the other side of the house or something like that. Yeah, that was interesting. That's a little tidbit that or the screenshot they put in there, and I'm not sure. Like I said, which one is the real Wanda? I'm guessing the Wanda that's walking up to this one dressed as the Scarlet Witch. That's the Wanda that's going to be in this movie, like the main Wanda, and then they're going back maybe in time to see this other Wanda or whatever have you.
That's why I think it's a variant, because I think like the idea was because this house looks different, it's not the same that it's in Westview, that Wanda from the MCU, the Westview not 616, the MCU, Wanda, she lost Billy and Tommy, and she's been looking for them since, kind of heard their voices at the end of WandaVision and stuff. So I believe that one of her like motivations in this movie is to try to get them back, and that going through reality she may encounter her self as a variant that has Billy and Tommy still, and either she tries to take them from this other Wanda or try to create copies or try to do something like she's motivated to get Billy and Tommy back after seeing this other variant of Wanda. That's my idea because this house is different. It's not the same. Because WandaVision, she kind of created all the changes to her house anyway, but it's still fundamentally like structurally different. So I don't think it's just like a flashback of her being in her own home and then approaching herself in like the astral plane. I think this is like her in another reality going and seeing another home, another family of Wanda and Vision. Who knows? Maybe we get Vision in this movie too. That would be really cool. Um, but yeah, I think this is a separate variant, and her driving motivating motivation in this movie will be based off of getting her kids back.
Right. Well, in the end of WandaVision, the white Vision, by like the original Vision, who's white now, like the white makeup,
Hmm.
um, does have gets his memories back of everything, and then you all see him flying away, and then you see him coming back down, and they're battling or whatever have you. Um, like he's battling. I forget who was he battling. Um,
We fought the other Vision, the one that Wanda created.
right,
They were
but then
fighting each
that
other.
Vision. So if I remember, I don't remember if I'm not remembering right, but that Vision, the one like I said, completely white one, ends up getting his memories back that he remembers everything
Hmm.
that has happened, everything from the day that his inception from in Ultron to the last moments where he gets the Mind Stone ripped from his head and Thanos takes it. So then he obviously remembers everything involved with Wanda and being in love with her and stuff like that. Now I don't know if she knows anything about like what's going on with when she created Westview and all that stuff. But yeah, so it'll be interesting if he somehow appears in this as well. That's something that we have to keep in mind as well.
All right. Later on in this trailer, we do have something worth debating. We get like this weird character this pops through the wall and then engages into a fight with Scarlet Witch, with Wanda. Um but we don't really have a great shot of this character, and they show up for like 3 seconds and it's like super fast frames, so it's really hard to decipher who they are. I think the body language is very like the colors and stuff is very Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, but I
Hmm.
don't believe it is Carol. And like what you said on here, I've actually seen several people take a crack at it. So I've seen people talk about this being Carol Danvers, which I don't believe it is, but it's
No,
still like it very much looks like it visually. I've seen people say that this is Captain Marvel Monica Rambeau. She was in, WandaVision, and that this is a version of her here, whether it's a variant or her from actually from WandaVision powered up and stuff. I've also seen people say that this could be um, King the Conqueror, but um, it being Iron Lad, like from a Young Avengers, so it'd be like a variant of Kang as Iron Lad. Now that last one, as far as I'm concerned, is very sus a little bit because what I was seeing online, people had blown not necessarily this frame because it's hard to get like screenshots of that, but they've blown up the picture and you can see that the character had like dark skin and pretty big lips, and the hair was really tight. It wasn't loose flowing or anything like that. It almost looks like cornrows or braids. And then like it looks very, again, dark skin. It looks like Jonathan Majors, like it was Kang, but at the same time that blown up screenshot looked a little sus, like someone manipulated it, whether it be the person that blew it up or whether Marvel did it or something like that. I don't know. It still could be Kang, but I'm leaning more towards Monica Rambeau, but like, yeah, it's hard. Like the hair, like you can see the hair has like some bumps there, like like they're cornrows, or in the very least, it's short hair. It's not long flowing. Monica had pretty long hair in the WandaVision, but of course, hairstyles can change in an instant. Or Marvel could be creatively editing this so that the hair is not a dead giveaway. So who knows? We didn't see Monica using her powers like this in WandaVision, but she had just got those powers, so we don't know if between then and now she learned how to use them or anything like that. So it can be someone else entirely too. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think it is Monica Rambeau, but I know there's a bunch of different theories. There was also people thought that might be a variant of Maria Rambeau, Monica's mom.
Mom, okay.
Yeah, some people thought that, and this is them like if this indeed is Monica Rambeau, they obviously finally face off, because they did kind of have a confrontation in WandaVision, but we never really saw them, you know, battle it out. So maybe this is I don't know, maybe towards the end where she kind of goes, chaotic more so, and they're trying to, all different kind of characters in the movie are trying to battle her. Monica, Monica, uh, Wanda, that is trying to battle Wanda, because obviously she might be like somewhat of an antagonist, or or might be the villain of this movie. Uh, Another theory people had was that it was Nova, which I thought was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a
Like
little. I don't know.
there's no way it's Nova. Like Nova is way too big of a character for them to just randomly, throw into a movie for a small screen. Like Rich Rider is like a really, like big character, and if they were going to cast Nova, they would have an announcement on who the actor would be. Like I don't doubt that they would probably put Nova in another movie first before they give him his own standalone, like the same way they did with Black Panther. But yeah, if it was Nova, we would know about it like beforehand. Like he's too popular, big of a character for them to just randomly throw in a scene, that we have no clue and nothing about it. And on top of that, when you really study the scene, there's no dome, golden dome.
Right.
That's
Like
how
I said, there's like little knots on his head, like there's or
right
their head.
right. The golden dome is like, how Nova gets his powers. Like that, the helmet is how he gets his powers, and, is able to, do what he does. Um, but yeah, that was something that, people thought. So yeah, I think it's more likely is Monica Rambeau, or maybe a variant of Maria Rambeau, that there's battling out, and in the end they're trying to battle with, the Scarlet Witch. Um, Wanda just try to, battle with her, try because she might be, like I said, the villain or the antagonist or whatever of this movie.
But
Um,
one thing that makes me a little skeptical on it being Monica, which who knows how things go, but like we are saying, there's inconsistencies. We don't know if that house at the beginning, or just a previous slide, is supposed to be the same house as in Westview,
mhm.
between when the Wandas were there, or if it's like another house or something like that. That could be like deliberate, or it could be like, oh, we didn't have the ability to go back to the same set that they filmed Westview, WandaVision, so they made another house. We don't know. That's hard to say. But um one thing they do try to do, and especially they did throughout all of last year with all of these Disney Plus shows, is energy signatures are color coded, and they've been doing that since like for a while now. Like, um, especially in WandaVision in particular, you had Wanda's energy was more like red, and then Monica's was blue, and then Agatha Harkness was, I believe, purplish in color, then Loki's was green, and so on. So that's been consistent. Like Wanda's energy signature when she uses her powers has always been red, so this entire time since she's Age of Ultron. That being said, if they are consistent, then that means Monica's energy would be blue when she shoots out energy beams and stuff, like when she's fighting. In this little scene, that character that's shooting and fighting Wanda, that energy is not blue. So that's again, could it be an inconsistency? Possibly. Maybe it's completely a different character and it's not Monica. If they are on, keeping things consistent, then it should be blue if it was Monica. That's again, I'm willing to accept that them making an error and it is Monica and then just made the wrong color, or it could be another deliberate edit by Marvel by trying to mislead us, like the whole Infinity War thing. You got no gems in Thanos's gauntlet pushing down on Steve, and then you actually watch the movie, he has a full hand of gems. That's totally possible too. So yeah.
Or the same thing they did at No Way Home, where they removed the two other Peter Parkers from the
Exactly.
still of them fighting. There is some blue in the still here when you look.
Like in
So
her hands, yeah, like
yeah,
the little
correct.
click
So
there. But when she's actually shooting it, like that scene, that's like there's no blue at
sure.
all.
I
Yeah.
mean, you can faintly see a little bit blue, but I mean, it could, like I said, just call off them. They could be taking the white off or whatever. The one
Now
last thing I
that
did.
blue is interesting right there, though. That's actually on her chest. It's not in her wrist. Like, because that right hand is way well below. Like the left hand is glowing blue, but the other one's on the chest. So that's
Well,
kind of
that
interesting.
that's just her positioning her hand that way. That's all that is.
No,
That's
I'm
just the
saying, yeah,
position of her
the
hand.
right hand that's away from her body. That second blue that's on the chest.
No, I'm
Uh,
saying it's just the way she's positioning her hand. That's why it looks like it's on her chest, but it's just her hand. Like
I don't see it that way.
I think that's what it is. But
It kind of looks like a weird way to put your hand. Well, okay.
But the last thing I did want to address was it was kind of a goofy Twitter thing that kind of annoyed me, like people dunking on what Wanda says, where she says like, "You break the rules and become a hero. I do it, I become the enemy. That doesn't seem fair." Like, although if you want to show the two screenshots where she's talking to Doctor Strange, yeah, where she's like, "That doesn't fair. I do it, and I become the enemy." They're flipped upside down. What the bottom one should be on top, but that doesn't matter. Um, that doesn't seem fair. Where she says that, and people are like, "Oh, well, you enslaved an entire town, so that's definitely a lot worse." And Doctor Strange hasn't really done anything bad, because they make excuses about like Peter Parker. He was trying to help Peter Parker, or whatever have you. But it's like this movie is literally supposed to be about what Doctor Strange did and how he really screwed everything up. Like this entire movie, that's what it's about. Like part of it, at least, is about how like everything's been messed up, not only because of things Wanda did, but because of things he's done. Like the fabric of reality has been screwed up and things like that. And it's just like dumb. It's like she has a point there to an extent. Like she broke the rules. She's the villain. He's broken the rules multiple times, and he's looked at the Sorcerer Supreme, the good guy, and patted on the back, and looked up to as being part of the Avengers still, and what have you. So that kind of irked me a little bit. And it's like, you guys are just trying to get dunk on this thing, and you're wrong. Like you're wrong. She's right. She's right with what she says. Those are my thoughts on that. I was just kind of like, it's dumb. It's dumb to think to get annoyed about, but I just thought it was like, I don't see what the point of dunking on that part of when she's 100% correct.
Yeah, and she's also, yeah, keep in mind that she references uh her mistakes in Civil War too. Like what caused the whole Sokovia Accords was
Mm-hmm.
she lifted that bomber up and threw him in, like up, and it was too close to the building and caused the building people in the building to die. That was a mistake that she made, and then she became vilified for it. And like when she does something, like she does anything, and whether a mistake or something, like, because even Westview is a mistake. Like, it's not like
No,
she
100%.
was trying to hurt people or anything like that. She didn't have those intentions, but things
No,
got
she
out
it
of
was
hand.
right. It wasn't like
And
consciously she was doing it. It was just her she it was her grief and her not understanding her powers
exactly.
basically that created that view. And once she found out what was happening, she immediately released them. But still, I mean, it still did like a lot of bad things as far as you know the multiverse and everything like that's concerned. But like I said, Doctor Strange doing everything that he's done is not far off, and it's actually probably worse to some degree because he did them intentionally, especially with like people are saying, well, the Peter Parker thing where he's trying to do the spell. Like Wong warns him, even though they had done the spell before to make them forget about some kind of party or something. Wong still says like don't do it because something could go wrong and something normally does go wrong and something did go wrong regardless of the thing that went wrong was Doctor Strange's fault or not. It's still something went wrong and a bunch of a big mess happened and it looks like, I mean, and the end of No Way Home, it looks like they fixed the mess, but obviously they really don't fix it and we're going to see more of what happened because of what he did in the Multiverse of Madness basically. So yeah, that I
Mhm.
just wanted to add that in just because I thought it, like I said, it annoyed me. Like it's like no, she's right in this like in this scene, she's 100% right. Like she's being vilified while he doesn't get vilified really. So we'll find out what happens furthermore in the in like in the movie itself. But like I said, yeah, you and I are both very excited about this. Any final thoughts as we're getting ready to wrap up here?
Let's see. I know I've heard like one thing this which I meant to grab also, that there was concept art of Professor Xavier um for this movie where he is in the yellow hovering chair from the animated series, and he's facing like it literally looks just like the trailer, so it really gives more credit to that being concept art for the movie. But Xavier in the yellow hovering chair, and he's facing Doctor Strange with the Ultron bots holding him there. So if that's true, that goes along with there being rumors of Doctor Strange and Professor Xavier having a fight, which I think I might have mentioned this before in a previous show, but those two fighting and the possibility of Wolverine and or Jean Grey showing up, or Magneto being in this movie, and so on. But yeah, we'll see. I'm pretty excited. I'm glad that Xavier's gonna be in the movie. It's not necessarily a confirmation of the X-Men being in the movie, or that this is how the X-Men are coming into the MCU, but in the very least, we're getting another go at Patrick Stewart, so I'm pretty hyped for that in the very, very least.
Right. Yeah. So I do like that they're gonna if that indeed is what, and it sounded like Patrick Stewart's voice when he's talking. So um I'm glad that they're trying to like throw like the little mutant Easter eggs, or I don't know if the Easter egg is the right word, but like just starting to talk about those little things and acknowledging that now these characters are going to start coming over to the MCU at some point. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see this movie. It's going to be coming out in May, so we got about 3 months. It'll be interesting what else we find out. I'm hoping we don't find out too many um, things about it like we did with No Way Home. Um, hopefully they're able to keep more things hush with this movie as opposed to they did with No Way Home, because we found out everything. Like we found out like both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were going to be in it. We found out that Charlie Cox was going to be in it. We found out various different things, obviously that they didn't really want to be in. Like I think it was somebody had like stolen the information and leaked it online or something like that. But so let's hope there's not too many leaks for this movie, because it'll be fun to be kind of surprised by some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been some minor leaks here and there, but hopefully the major leaks haven't really come about. But yeah, that's pretty much a wrap for today's episode. Again, please go check it out. Check us out on any previous episodes that you may have missed. We've talked about so many different MCU movies. We've talked about various different DCU stuff. We've talked about other sci-fi movies as well, like The Matrix, for example. Last week we did a fun show where Carl and I talked about 2 underrated comic book movies. We kind of gave our thoughts on those as well. But yeah, obviously check us out on YouTube. You can also check us out on any audio or platforms, that major or minor audio platforms for podcast listening as well. And then also check out any other shows that you may have missed as in regards to Barroom Network covering all the various Chicago sports as well. So, but yeah, thank you again for tuning in tonight to the stumbling my words. Thank you again for tuning in to tonight's show. I'm Salim Sidarwala and Carl Eames. And thank you. Yep. Thank you for joining us.